I note that you've already stated today that the vaccine was designed to actually stop or prevent infection, and this was also reiterated by your CEO, Albert Bourla, on the 2nd of April 2021, where he posted a tweet, and I'll quote, "Excited to share that updated analysis from our phase 3 study showed that our COVID-19 vaccine was 100% effective in preventing COVID-19 cases." Now, by September 2022, Australia had recorded 10 million cases of COVID, despite having an adult population vaccinated to the tune of 95%. Given those real-world figures in Australia, do you still stand by that statement you've just said today to Senator Canavan, that the vaccine was effective in preventing infection?
Senator, we strongly believe and we reiterate that the vaccine is safe and effective for its intended use. What changed was that the virus evolved. If we look at the clinical data from before the virus mutated into Delta, Omicron and subsequent variants, the vaccine maintained high levels of efficacy. If we look at the 6-month data from the pivotal trial, efficacy for prevention of serious...
Sorry, I'm not referring to trials. I'm referring to the fact. I'm referring to the Omicron variant, and that's a product of the nature of the vaccine, where you have actually designed a vaccine that's an epitope on one spike protein and not the other 28 proteins in the vaccine. So that's a design fault of yours, the fact that it can't cope with other variants, because that's the nature of the way you've designed that vaccine.
Senator, I categorically reject your statement. The vaccine was carefully designed against the virus that was prevalent at the time, which was the original wild-type virus, and it remained highly effective against preventing illness and preventing severe disease.
Can you define highly effective in terms of a duration?
Senator, when the wild-type virus was prevalent, efficacy of approximately or greater than 90% was maintained at 6 months for both overall illnesses and severe disease.
Because the TGA non-clinical report on the Pfizer vaccine said that T cells, antibodies and T cells in monkeys declined quickly after 5 weeks after the second dose of the vaccine. So the best we've got here in animal studies was 5 weeks. 35 days, a little bit over a month. So why are you saying 6 months when animal studies showed 5 weeks, and in human studies you cut them short after 2 months?
Senator, the human immune system doesn't rely on antibodies alone. Antibodies provide short-term protection against infection. T cell and other immune responses, which are a little bit more difficult to measure, provide longer-lasting protection.
Well, maybe you didn't hear what I just said. He said, however, antibodies and T cells decline quickly after 5 weeks. That's what the TGA Pfizer non-clinical report said, 5 weeks.
Senator, it is very difficult to measure the totality of the immune system's responses against the infection. What we need to rely on...
Well, OK then, so if that's the case, sorry.
Senator, if Dr Tharouk can just finish his answer. Are you finished, Dr Tharouk? Yeah. I mean, by all means, if you've got something else to say it, but then I'll go back to Senator Rennick.
Yeah, just one more comment. What we then need to look to is clinical outcomes, and it's very clear that even with the Omicron variant, with a virus that's now quite different to the original virus, that efficacy against, in particular, severe disease, hospitalisation, and people not surviving is maintained for significant durations.
Okay, I'm referring to infection, because for the bulk of the people, half the country was infected with COVID 10 months after. And for healthy working age population, their risk from COVID was very low. So I'm putting in the context here that these people were forced to take a vaccine that you said, and you've said today, was effective in preventing infection. And that's not the real-world data. The real-world data showed that almost 50% of the population, despite being vaccinated twice, if not 3 times, caught COVID. And you've just said it's very difficult to measure the duration. So are you going to retract the statement that the vaccine was effective? Because you've basically contradicted yourself already.
Senator, the virus had approval for the prevention of infection, for the prevention of severe disease and the prevention of hospitalisation. Despite the fact that the virus had evolved, had mutated significantly, vaccination remained significantly effective against severe disease and hospitalisation for prolonged periods.
Okay, I'll move on to safety. Thank you.
May I say something? I actually reject your statement that people were forced to take the vaccine.
Well, that's not... Okay, we'll deal with that later. That's not your decision, so that's not to do with today.